On this episode, I'm joined by my buddy Dylon, who just recently competed at the Arnold Sports Festival for the second time. And so we talked a little bit about the comparison between his first time and this time. And we also go over the anime awards. So it's a little dated, but it's a really good episode. And I still wanted you guys to hear that. So for some reason, I'm basically the Grim Reaper when it comes to technology. And this episode and the episode that's coming after this one, we're both AKA lost footage. But surprise, we found them. So enjoy the episode.
You want to do like a clap to get us synced up?
Do you want to? All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. I was so delayed. So first things first, I think I should ask this question. Do you know, because it's the afternoon, what version of like, or how do you say good afternoon, I guess technically in Japanese would be the one?
Oh my God. All I know is Ohio.
Okay. Do you know when that's used for?
In Ohio. That's good morning, right?
That's good morning. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because you've been doing your Japanese
lessons. I have been doing my Japanese lessons. Yes. I've been slacking on in the past couple of days. I'm using this as an excuse as the beginning of the episode. So
I have also recently acquired a Pimsleur membership that I have not been utilizing.
Oh, you should have. Don't tell anybody if you're listening, but I'm pretty sure you could have just told me and I could have just given you an account that you could have signed in on my account and you would have had your own section.
That's what I'm on somebody else's account.
Ah, is it your waifu's? Is that why?
It's one of my waifus.
Yeah. Is she doing Japanese lessons too?
No, she's doing Icelandic lessons. Well, we're going to Iceland later.
Okay. All right, I get you. All right. That's fair enough. But you haven't answered the question yet.
What is good afternoon?
This is like so stereotypical. Like I'm surprised you haven't said it yet.
Oh no. Okay. I don't know.
It's what people think is like hello. Come on, man.
Oh, like konnichiwa?
Yeah, you did it. I'm proud of you. That's really
that's what it is?
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. So good morning would be like Ohayo gozaimasu, right? Like that's like the formal way, or like Ohio, like for like less formal, right? Then you got like konnichiwa for afternoon, and then you got konbanwa for evening.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think someone will yell at me already. This is what I'm trying. Anyways, welcome back to the Weebs and Weights podcast, episode 106. I'm here today with Dylon, who you heard on the drive back episode from Anime NYC. Dylon, hello, welcome.
Hello. Long time listener, second time co-host. Feels good.
That's literally the exact same way you started.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I just love reusing jokes.
That's fine. That's fair. So
reduce, reuse, recycle.
So the reason that Dylon is on here, which you're probably going to see him a lot more often than you think, but he just competed at the Arnold Sports Festival this year. This was your second time, correct?
Second time, yep.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about a little bit of the comparisons from the first time to this one, if he still remembers that, some of his training changes and such. And we're also going to talk about the anime awards a little bit, because that happened. And we're not going to go through all of them because there are some that I'm assuming you and I are not good at, like voice actors. I'm horrible with voice actors, so I'm not even going to concern myself with talking about that stuff.
I wish I was better. They deserve a lot of credit.
They do. And we you know, when we find someone we love, we're all like, yeah, that guy, right? But like we need to up our game for sure. But there's a bunch. I always
feel like I recognize voice actors. Like if I'm watching one anime, I'm like, this is totally this person from that other anime.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm correct, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know.
This is one of those topics where I'm always like, I know this guy, and then I have to like Google their name, and I'm like, yeah, that's Derek. You know what I mean? And then like the next week, I like fucking forget his name, and I feel bad about it.
I feel like I always hear like Bakugo in other shows. I'm like, that's totally Bakugo. And then like I think like you, a few times I've looked it up. And I'm like, oh, it's not.
Yeah, like Piccolo Vegeta's voice actor, like stuff like that. Like you hear him everywhere, you know. But yeah, man, let's just dive in right out of the gate. Let's just kind of get to action here. All right. The Arnold. Okay. So this is your second time.
Second time in a row. Yep.
How did this experience compare? I don't know why I'm doing this so formally. How is this one different from last time? You know what I mean? Like how, because obviously getting on a national stage is a very different thing than doing local comps, and that's at any level. And you obviously have your share of experience on platforms and being able to do that. So, and in the strongman community, which we'll get, that'll be the next source of the question. But yeah, how'd that change? How was that experience differ from the first time?
Yeah. I guess first of all, it's kind of crazy going through my my USAW profile and seeing all the different competitions I've done.
Yeah.
At this point, it's way too many for how I think I'm performing these days. But it's always a good time. Always a good time. Yeah, this time compared to last year, I'd say the last year and a half ish, I've sort of been kind of a hybrid athlete. Doing Olympic weightlifting mostly a majority of the time, but also dedicating some good effort to strongman. And last year was kind of similar, although I think I had a little bit more time under my belt with weightlifting, where I guess like training time during the year. Whereas this year, I had like kind of a short run up for prep for the Arnold. I was doing like a lot of different programming towards like the latter half of last year, not really focusing on weightlifting that much. Gained a bunch of weight, had to lose it all again for the Arnold. And so this was kind of a lot more up in the air, a lot more stressful than last year in that regard.
So okay, so the mental side of it was a little bit more.
Oh yeah, because I basically only had like 2 months of like a training block to prepare.
That was
And
weightlifting specific.
weightlifting specific, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say up until like the start of this year, I was mostly still doing like strongman stuff. Like
Yeah.
a couple times a week, I might hit a snatch, I might hit a clean. But really, besides that, I was doing giant sets like you're familiar with, like you've been doing. Just like trying to train more generally. And then like start of January, I'm just like, oh crap, Arnold's coming up.
It's time.
Got to get back onto the weightlifting program.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then like, okay, so you actually segued perfectly into that because I thought you were going to go in a different direction with that. I'm glad you didn't. And it's interesting, right? Because we talked about this, I think, a couple of times. Weightlifting is one of those weird ones where it's so technically mindseted. Is that a word? It's so technically like, like as a sport, it's all about doing things efficiently. So it's hard for, I think, a lot of coaches that get into being a weightlifting coach to be able to be like, hey, athlete, we need to take a step back and focus on certain other things like strength or building a little bit more mass, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Working on deficiencies, whatever that is. And it's hard because I think, and we had this issue, I think, were you there for that? I don't think you were. You were never part of the club that I was at before I came to where we met, right?
I was not.
Okay. So we had an issue with that where we had a backup team Olympian that was one of our coaches, and he was a phenomenal coach, phenomenal athlete, and he was programming like he was, which was like, we're gonna clean, we're gonna snatch, we're gonna pull, we're gonna squat, and we're gonna do some basic accessory stuff, and each person's gonna have their own adjustments to accessories, right? A very sound, strong approach to training. And he wasn't the owner of the gym, he was just getting paid to program and coach when he could get in. And so when people started complaining about being, I don't understand how, but being bored with what they were doing, he had to adjust stuff. And then it became these like weird novel lifts that was just adding spice to the program where everyone's like, I want to go to be a state champion. I want to be a national champion. And it's just like, but you're not willing to do what's necessary. You want to be happy, which is, I understand, right? Like if you're not enjoying it and you want to do some novel stuff, totally get that, right? But it's a hard balance, right? And I'm thinking about competition in a competition site, right? Because you're obviously training for fun too, and you're competing because you enjoy it. But long story to come back around on that was that like the things that needed to be done that were getting people better got removed. and so you can get bored with training is where I'm getting at, is that. And so like you were struggling, the same thing that I had with weightlifting. That's why I went to bodybuilding, was that like I audited 5.5 years of weightlifting programs and was like, I haven't put on mass in a long ass time. I haven't gotten stronger. I've gotten better at my movements, but I need to focus on building my strength back up and arguably probably getting a little bit bigger, because being a non-enhanced athlete, a bigger muscle can translate to a stronger muscle because of bigger cross-sectional area, more force production, all that bullshit, right? So I mean, you did the other thing, right? Where you were like, okay, I'm bored, strongman's fun, I'm gonna go do strongman shit. And you just got strong again. And you started getting bigger and you put on some mass, you did all these things, and you maintained weightlifting stuff. So you were maintaining enough that you were staying in the motion, and then got back to training for the peak, and you reset yourself and got in. And like the next question was, how did your lifts feel this year on stage?
They felt good. You know, I set some like conservative expectations. Like I realized I wasn't as weightlifting specific strong as I was last year.
Mm,
But like things during this last training block were feeling good. So I set some conservative but still like, I don't know, lofty expectations or goals for the competition. Um, and I ended up slightly exceeding them. Oh, and like I guess to also throw another wrench in the gears. I've been dealing with like a sprained wrist, which weightlifting is very
there's no
focused
risks
on it.
involved. What are we talking about?
A lot of extreme wrist motions, but so that was like a bit of a hindrance. And so with all of that, I'm just like, okay, I'd be happy if I like hit these numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I ended up slightly exceeding them, coming like very close to the total I put up last year, which was my best ever total, like one of my best ever meets. Um, and so yeah, to get close despite the short run up and despite the wrist injury and everything else, things looked good. And looking back at the video, especially of my snatch, you know, I snatched 100 kilos. I've only done that like a very small handful of times, and only on like perfect days, and usually with like a few missed attempts beforehand. But I I hit it on the first time I tried it on the platform, and looking at the video, it was like one of the best looking 100 kilo snatches I've ever done.
Hell yeah, brother. Pushing past his limits, dude.
That's right. Nani? And especially like on the platform too. It's really tough to I don't know, like lift cleanly, you know.
Mm,
I feel like the pivotal moment for me for when I was like finally when I finally thought to myself, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm like a sort of legit lifter now," was when I went to a competition and all of my competition lifts finally looked like my training lifts.
mm,
Because I feel like for so many beginners, me included, like things will look good and feel good in training, but then when you go out on the platform, adrenaline kicks in, like your mind goes blank, and your body just like does whatever it wants to do. Sometimes it cooperates, sometimes it doesn't, and
mm-hmm,
like things just like look different than they do in training.
mm-hmm.
I would full snatch, or full clean everything in training, but I'm hitting like power snatches and whatever on the platform just because like I
Yeah.
can't like I feel like a newborn doe. Like the adrenaline is just like causing my body to I don't know, feel like one of those wooden uh drawing puppets. I'm just like
Yeah,
flailing
yeah, yeah.
around. But yeah, but finally when I when in a competition, they like everything like looked normal. My body just like automatically performed the way it always does and always should. I'm just like, oh crap,
It's
I-
happening.
it's happening. Yeah.
And this was after a long time off of a weightlifting program too, like a specific weightlifting program, right? Like you were maintaining the technique stuff, you focused on, and man, it's so hard. It's like there's no, I mean, if there was like a perfect equation, right? Like no, there wouldn't be coaches and there wouldn't be these conversations happening. So, but yeah, and this is where like I think like the Chinese weightlifting team has it right, like right, like they have for example, just like in their jerks, like their jerk. What's the word I'm looking for? Man, it's been so long since I've had to do this. I can't, like, my language is like bad. Their theory when it comes to jerk training, and that's when like you're either split or squat jerk, for those of you that are listening, where you're putting the weight from your shoulders to overhead. They specifically talk about maintaining, I forget what the percentage is. I have a book somewhere, I have to look it up, but they talk about maintaining a strength budget. So they have like their overhead work and their jerk work. They want to be able to jerk more than they can clean. Like they work on like crazy ass shit like that, where they're talking about, because that's the hardest part of that movement, right? Like you've already gone from the floor to your shoulders, you stood it up, and now you're trying to catch your air, get yourself balanced, get yourself set in a high stress situation, and then go to overhead. So they want to make sure and ensure that the jerk is their strongest point, which is funny considering you see them lift and you still see how fucking difficult all this shit is, but even what they're doing is crazy. But that's why I keep bringing back the strength thing, right? Like when you went to strongman and you were like, I want us to weightlift though, it's just like, yeah, you can still maintain technique stuff and not have it affect your actual training. If anything, it's more beneficial. You look at some strongman training and some of the programs that people make in off season when they don't know what events they're going to go to and what they're going to do for that competition. If they have cleans set in their program, a lot of strongmen are doing actual Olympic cleans.
Yeah.
Like real Olympic cleans. They literally specifically state, like, don't use your fucking strongman stomach to axle clean this bullshit. Like, do it correctly because you're trying to train a specific thing, right? So it's really interesting.
Especially in the in like the lower weight class strongman. And a lot of like the sort of like top coaches in strongman will talk about this, where like the big guys you see on TV, they're just like, at the end of the day, they are genetic freaks who are gigantic, and they have like the leniency to get away with like doing things quote unquote incorrectly. They're strong enough, they're big enough that like all they have to do is just like train hard, show up on the day, and like have like some like tiny technical background to perform. But like if you're like an under 80 kilo strongman and you're throwing around like a 350-pound sandbag, which is like close to what the gigantic guys do, you need to rely on technique. You need to rely on like explosiveness and more of an athletic background to be able to like even like manage to do that. So you see, like I've been watching some videos on Instagram of like these lighter weight class strongmen doing like basically like full cleans for their axle work. Where it's something that I do in my strongman training, where they do like mixed grip on the axle. They'll do like a normal clean, and they'll swap their hand back to like a double overhand, catch it in like a full in a full clean, and then go from there. So like having that like that off season, I don't know, just like athletic GPP type stuff is really beneficial.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought up the whole like they are like these genetic freaks. They're all massive. They're all huge, right? Like, I mean, you look at like was it Obrus? When he first did his first strongman competition, he broke the North American record for overhead press, for like log press or something. It was like, and he just showed up and did it, you know. And like you see a lot of these guys who are high, who are like the top of the top, like the top 50. They all have the same thing. They're like, yeah, I didn't know what it was. I just showed up and I did a competition, and I was like, oh, I can win this. Okay, you know. Not to saying that that's like the best way to do it, right? But that's where the whole like hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard kind of thing, you know. That's where that whole thing came from, where it's just like, okay, yeah, maybe they are more genetically, you know, predisposed for this, and
but everyone at the top is, you know,
right, you know,
if you
it's all evil,
go to
right?
World's Strongest Man, everyone's a genetic freak. Like you're not you're special among normal people, but you're not special among the special, right?
Yeah.
So that is where like the hard work has to come into play.
Right, which is also to be very specific to everybody that's listening. We're not saying these guys don't work hard.
Exactly. They have to work
Yeah.
hard in order to like beat their competition.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's I really wanted to drive home that point that like you took away weightlifting, or you didn't take away weightlifting, but you just took a step back and you were like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm stagnant. I've plateaued on this and I'm enjoying another form of training. And you've been training for how long now? How many years have you been training for?
Like general training or
Yeah,
weightlifting?
I mean, with an
I
actual focus, you know what I mean? Like not just like
yeah,
going to the gym to go to the gym.
I started lifting mostly in college. So I'd say that's like almost 10 years ago now, doing like starting strength, just basically doing anything to no longer have my skinny track runner body. Um, also, and having access to a dining hall helped with that.
Yeah.
Um, that was just general barbell movements. Weightlifting specifically, I'd say maybe like the past 6 years or so.
Okay. So, I mean, 6 years is a decent amount of time, right? And like with the more trained you get, the more you need to lean into, and like a lot of literature shows this too. But you need to lead into like specified blocks of things, where like it's like, okay, need to focus on getting stronger. And we're not talking like the 4-week block that everyone likes to do because it fits into a month, because we have these these ideals that time are set in these man-made sections of what time is to us, right? So like everyone tries to plan those into those kind of things where it's like you can have extended periods of training blocks. Like it doesn't need to be a 4-week. It can be 6, it can be 8, it can be 12, 16. Like there's people that literally will do 10-day training weeks. And those
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
like they have 10-day microcycles into their macros. You know what I mean? So like, and then they'll take like, okay, this is a 3 cycle, 10 days each. That's 30 days of training that are planned out and ready to go, whether it's for speed, whether it's for power, whether it's for like endurance, whatever it is, you know? But you literally took, and this is the issue with a lot of weightlifting stuff. Like, yes, is there ways to do specific weightlifting training where it's focusing on just strength? Is it focusing on just general prep? Focusing on, yes, there is. But I think it's a lot harder for coaches to kind of like step away from their weightlifting stuff. And I don't know if that's like a lack of them upskilling themselves and constantly looking at what other people are doing, talking to other coaches, having conversations with people that like do this stuff, and podcasts, all these things. There's so many free resources out there, but again, it takes time, and a lot of people are struggling to figure out how to do that. But yeah, like you took a step back and you were like, I'm going to enjoy strongman and I'm going to maintain Olympic stuff. Cause I think we talked about it when you first did the transition too, where you maintained a couple of days a week of Olympic lifting specific shit.
Yeah.
And like that all benefited you. Like you just fucking got stronger and you came back and you hit the strongest 100-kilo snatch you've ever hit, which means that your general, like the bottom of your pyramid has gotten bigger. And so like now you can build that shit higher, right? That's the whole plan. It's like everyone's heard the pyramid the pyramid scheme, you know, like make it bigger, go higher, make it like, yeah, it's the part of the game, you know, and hopefully your baseline's a little higher. So, but yeah, man, fuck yeah. So what did you hit this year compared to last year's? What was last year's totals? And then what are this year's?
Last year's total was 222, hit a 102 snatch and a 120 clean and jerk. I quote unquote hit a 125 clean and jerk, but I got 2 red lights on it for an elbow bend, which I think was fair, but also
no, it was your shoulder. I remember this specifically.
Yeah,
which doesn't count as an elbow bend. Judges.
Yes. And okay, what was low key annoying about it was there's like this guy that lifted right before me. He had the most like aggressive press out, like textbook press out. And so like one judge gave him a white light, one judge gave him a red light, but the third judge was like watching a different platform that was going on at the same time, wasn't even paying attention to the guy lifting. And then like literally got like elbowed to be like, hey, you need to like give your result. And they're like, oh, okay, and put a white light on it. We're just like, are you? And then I lifted after him, got fucking red lighted with like a way better jerk. And I still think about it.
He got afraid and dialed in on your lift because he fucked up before.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, now I gotta pay attention.
Yeah. Okay, so you got 222, 102 snatch, and a 120 clean and jerk last year.
And now this
Okay.
year, a 100 and 118. So 218, only
Yeah.
4 kilos under my best total ever. So
Okay. Did you plan to go in and not like try to go for PR? Did you just plan to like, oh, I qualified, I'm gonna go lift? Was that the mindset going in, or?
yeah, so I had qualified for this year's with my total from last year.
Hmm.
Um, and so most of my training and most of my all of my competitions last year was strongman focused. I competed since the Arnold. I had done, I want to say two, maybe three strongman competitions last year after the Arnold, and no weightlifting competitions. So qualified, people were going, so I ended up signing up. Um, but I hadn't put up like another weightlifting competition total since the Arnold last year.
Okay.
Um, and so then with the short training block and everything, and then the wrist injury, I'm just like, okay, I the numbers I want to hit are 98 and 118, just with everything going on. I was wanted to be semi-conservative, but still, I don't think I hadn't hit 98 or 118 in training the last couple months. Like, I think I attempted a 98, but I missed, and I couldn't even jerk over like 110
Hmm.
because of my wrist injury. So it was still like, even though it was like conservative compared to last year, they were still numbers that like I wasn't sure I was gonna hit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, listen, man, a 4 kilo drop for not specifically training for that, like for like a 2 week ramp up or whatever it was, like you did going into it, like that's
And in a deficit, I don't know if I mentioned this, but
you lost. Yeah, you went down a weight class, didn't you?
I well, it's the same class that I was in last year, but over this past year, I guess I really embraced the strongman lifestyle, um, and I got up to like, I don't know, close to 90 kilos, and I had to come back down to 81.
Hell yeah, brethren.
So since the beginning of June until my weigh in the morning of the competition, I lost 22 pounds.
So wait, so say it again. What was the time frame?
It was, I think, like January 3rd to like March 3rd, 22 pounds.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so a couple months. Couple months. That's not
Yeah.
bad. That's a decent rate cut. I mean, maybe a little quick, but
Yeah, definitely
um,
like slightly aggressive. And I think that was like another reason why, kind of unsure what my performance would be, because I know it's not easy to train on a deficit, as you definitely know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I kind of black out the second I get down to a certain calorie count now with like the like prepping for a show or something like that. I literally just like go numb. Like I could
Dude,
literally, my arm could be hanging off, and I would have no idea. Like,
I was talking to a buddy at the gym. He was like, "Dude, how did you like lose all this weight?" I'm just like, I don't know why, but for some reason, I just like don't care being hungry.
yeah,
He was like, I could never do that.
that's where you get to. You know what I mean? Like, especially when
Yeah.
it's interesting, man. Like when you get goal orientated with that stuff, it makes it such a different game, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
ugh, yeah, it's that's basically what happens. Like you're so used to being hungry that you're just like, yeah, whatever, shut up, stomach. Like, don't care, leave
Yeah,
me
because it's
alone.
just
Yeah,
like, sure, I'm hungry now, but like I'm gonna eat tomorrow,
right, right.
and like this is like another uh Lego in the Millennium Falcon, the Falcon that is my preparation towards my goal, right? So like, who cares? Who cares if I'm hungry?
Do you have Legos on your desk? Is that why you brought up that?
No, I don't know why. I have no idea why I went to Legos, but
I don't know. I'm
I
okay
do
with
I,
that though.
I do have some vaguely Lego like things. These like Japanese
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, nano blocks, I think they're called. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Well, cool. So what about the show floor and stuff like that, right? Because you got a chance to walk around the show floor and like maybe meet some famous nerds out there, some famous weebs. Because I know there was a
Ye-
bunch of them walking around. So
Oh yeah. I mean, like day one, uh, went in there. It was like super not busy. It was like the Thursday, like nothing really was going on. It wasn't very busy or anything. I went over to the hotel across the street to grab a cup of coffee. Um, uh, got one, was walking out, and I saw just like three famous strongmen. I saw like Thor Bjornsson. I saw Jerry Pritchett. I saw Maxime Boudreau in his wheelchair. He broke both his legs preparing for the Arnold,
Nice. Nice.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
or no, or one leg. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. Just like uh, you don't realize how gigantic these guys are because they're always like next to each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then you see them in real life, and you're like, they're big.
Perspective's a bitch, man.
Yeah.
I remember playing ball in school, and like I'm 5 foot, let's just say 7 for sake of argument, right? Like I say I'm 5'10" on a good day. And like our center was like 7'2". And like I'm
Jeez.
so used to playing with this guy that I'm like staring at his fucking like belly button, and I feel like I'm staring him in the eyes. And then like years of being separated and like going playing pickup with a friend and a guy that's 6'5", and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, I forgot how different this feels like when you're not doing stuff. Like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Can you imagine being like in a wheelchair and being like, hey, Thor, push me around, let's go? Like, that'd be funny.
Yeah. Besides those guys, I
Yeah.
think I saw like Lean Beef Patty.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she
Just
was there. That's right.
yeah, some people had stopped her for some photos. A lot of I think I texted you about this, but I was in the training hall warming up for my weightlifting competition, which is like sort of separated from the main expo hall. It's in
Mm.
its own like little like ballroom. Um, and I look over to one of the other platforms, and there's this coach, coaching his athlete, and it's like this like older dude, but like big guy, very like imposing figure, wearing a Naruto hoodie. It's got the fucking Akatsuki cloud on it. I'm just like, damn, respect.
I love it, man. I'm so good. And it's this is actually one of the questions I'm going to ask at some of the conventions. Like, I want to ask people how they feel about like the more mainstream stuff and like what it's done to the presence. Because
Mm,
like I love the fact. I mean, I said this. We've talked about this a couple times. Like I've said this a million times. Like, but when I started Weebs and Weights, I was like, okay, it's not mainstream yet. Give it a couple of years. And then literally 2 years on the dot, and it was like boom, like it was everybody's watching it, everyone's using it for motivation, everyone's arguing about it. I was having a conversation with a kid in the gym the other day, and the term woke weeb has been starting to be used amongst those of us who haven't started late in life with anime. um and it was a very interesting conversation. That's a conversation for another time, but like he was saying how like the people that are getting into anime now, and they're getting into like, oh, Naruto, One Piece, DBZ, all the mainstream stuff, like, and they're trying to gatekeep people being like, hey, this new isekai came out and it's about being a vending machine, and them calling you like crazy ass names and shit, and being like, dude, like, stop gatekeeping the community. Like, the whole reason, like, what like are you doing? Like,
come
it's
on.
yeah, it's weird. But the fact that woke weeb was used as a term was scaring me a little bit, to be honest. I was like, oh, like now we're getting into a point where we're starting to share things, like. But so what else?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Lean Beef was there. We've got friggin' one of the Akatsuki training other Akatsuki members. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Besides that,
Anything good
I
in
don't
the
know.
hall? Like anything, like any equipment things or anything that you saw out there that was like new-ish, innovative, or you thought might have had potential or anything like that on the floor?
Ooh. Oh, well, I did the Goruk had like a booth, like a
Okay.
big one. Um and they had the like a series of these like shield shaped sandbags. So I go there. I think I'm wearing an anime shirt. Um so I go up there wearing an anime shirt and a hoodie, and I'm kind of a small guy. And I go up there, and I'm kind of like standing on the sidelines watching a bunch of these like big dudes try to pick up these sandbags, and they have like four of them in kind of like ascending weight. Um, and no one's getting the big boy. No one's getting the big boy sandbag. Even these guys who are like pushing like 300 pounds and like big, like not just like I don't know, just like very like muscular guys. No one's able to pick it up. And so this one guy that like works for Goruk turns his head to me. He's like, "Hey, you think about trying it out?" I'm just like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of, I just competed today. I'm kind of tired." And he's like, "Ah, come on. I've seen." I've seen big guys not be able to do it, and I've seen guys your size, be able to do it. So you should just give it a try. You never know. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe. So I give it a few more minutes, and I eventually saunter up to it. And there's this older couple who are just like having fun watching all these people try. And this old guy, I got kind of like Master Roshi vibes from him. He like looks me up and down. He's like, "Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I think you're gonna pick it up, and I think you're gonna make 2 laps with it." And I'm like, "Oh, really? You think I can make 2 laps with it?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll do 2 laps." So I go over. I like shed my hoodie. I go down to the big boy sandbag, pick it up, no problem. Do 2 laps with it, to the gasps of everyone watching.
I love it. You should have looked at the old guy and been like, "I'm going for 3," and just like kept going.
Felt good. It definitely felt good.
That's a man that has experience in non-public gym space. He just knew. He was like, "This kid's got some. I can feel the energy, dude. His key is
right.
like, yeah."
Yeah,
That's
I felt
awesome.
like I was Goku or Rock Lee shedding my weighted armor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, cool, man. All right.
Those
Anything
guys,
else?
besides that, they had a lot of other cool like demonstrations, like uh, other barbell equipment companies that had like uh, deadlift bars set up with like varying weights. People coming up and trying it. Definitely saw like some very impressive lifts. People rocking anime shirts.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you won
Uh,
something at the Village booth, didn't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
they. Well, I will say I don't want to like toot my own horn because it was kind of an easy challenge. I'd say most people were able to do it. But it was like 20 reps at a 225 deadlift, and you could walk away with a free belt, um, which I ended up doing. Uh, and now I what kind of sucks about it is I think my cut was a little too successful because I think the belt is a little bit big on me.
That's okay,
But
because now you'll be able to when you buff back up and you get into
that's
like a
right.
good a
Now
good
then it'll fit
surplus, you
perfect.
can regrow. It'll fit. It's fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, ended up winning a free belt from them. And then I also from their collab with One Hund,
The
I got
deadlift
their new
shoes.
I got the new Demon Slayer deadlift shoes, the
What's
Tanjiro ones.
and it's it's just the checkerboard, right? It's the green and
Yeah,
black checkerboard. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
green
okay.
and black
Yeah, yeah.
checkerboard.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the Akatsuki ones were sick too. The first ones they did.
I was this close to getting them, but I
Yeah.
already have a pair of deadlift shoes. I'm like, oh, I mean, like, I'm not like a huge Naruto guy, so I don't know if I'm gonna get them. But then I saw they're coming out with the Demon Slayer ones. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta get
You
those.
gotta get those. I gotta get those. Okay, cool. I didn't even know they had them at the booth. So that's sick.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty cool.
Cool.
Besides that, I don't know. Some of the, like the sports they had were pretty cool. They
Mm.
had like competitive tag. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like so cool to watch, on YouTube or whatever, but in person, I don't know, it's a lot more real. You're just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow, I don't understand how they could be doing this."
Yeah, I've
And
tried
like
to jump through pipes before. It's not like
and like
at
the
all.
the reflexes that they have, because like it's not like they don't slow down when they like
No.
jump through a pipe. They're still going full speed.
Yeah.
So people being able to just like having the body awareness to like lift their foot an extra inch or like duck their head at the last second, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean parkour is a crazy ass just yeah. That's one thing I've always wanted to do because I thought it would be a really cool
Mm.
something to supplement with being like an athlete somewhere else. But there's just like I don't even know how to practice that. Like I don't even know where to start looking for a gym that's a parkour gym. You know what I mean? I think there's
Dude, back in
one
high
near me,
school,
but
we used to want to do parkour. We would go to like the local park on weekends when no one was there and just like run up and down like the jungle gym and stuff. And we were so like unathletic too. We were just like a group of nerds that would like ride our crappy BMX bikes there and and try to do parkour. It was fun.
I love it. I love it. I remember doing that stuff too. And you always yell parkour, right? Yeah.
Most of the time,
Parkour.
yes.
Yeah, you just kick a chair over or something. But all right, man. let's move on to some anime. What do you think? Thoughts?
Yeah.
All right. So, what have you been watching? I think that's where we start. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot that's come out. I don't know if you've watched anything from the Winter Split, but it is isekai heaven right now. They are hot, and I don't even know if I can say this on the interwebs anymore, but I'm simping hard when it comes to isekai stuff.
Hot
This isn't
isekais
Twitch.
in your area.
Yeah, man, come and get them.
Yeah, what am I watching? I was watching Iron-Blooded Orphans from your recommendation
Okay.
from back at Anime NYC. I
Because
think
that's your first Gundam, right?
that's my it's my first like I don't know, Gundam TM.
Okay.
I had watched, oh god, what's the name of that? Gun Sword, which is like a mech anime from back in the day. Yeah, like early 2000s. I think that might have been my first anime. Or okay, I don't say first anime. First time watching an anime when I knew what anime was instead of
Okay.
like just Toonami cartoons.
Okay. Yeah.
Buddy in college got me back, got us into it. But yeah, that was like my like a mech anime. But I've never watched like a proper Gundam before.
Okay.
So yeah, Iron Blooded Orphans was the first one.
Okay. Yeah. Thoughts?
Big fan.
Did you finish it?
I finished the first season. Gotta do the second season now.
All right. Good to know. So I don't say anything.
Yeah, yes, please. I liked it. Yeah, definitely super hype. Really good animation. Story was also really good. Yeah, I don't know.
You have to
Good
watch
rec.
Wish for Mercury. You have to do it.
Yes, that is also on the list.
So it's a really good one to kind of jump into after Iron Blooded. I feel like it'll be hard. Maybe not for you because you grew up in the same era, right? But like watching like Mobile Suit and like the original Gundams is like very difficult for people that didn't grow up with like Saturday morning cartoons and like watching like stuff that was on Boomerang, like watching the old Looney Tunes, like stuff like that, because it's very much that style of like hand drawn flip book kind of anime. And because it was so OG, it's like, but like the story of it's always been good, and like the thing that like Gundam always has done well is here's a story of like a little bit of a flame of hope. And then, like, you're like, oh, this is so awesome. It's so great, blah, blah, blah. And then it zooms out and just goes, don't forget that tyranny is a fucking thing. And it, like, just sits there and, like, looms over the whole series. And you never know when things are going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does such a good job of that.
Did that so many times where I'm just like, okay, they're finally going to make it. Things are going, oh, they just killed lots of people.
Yeah.
Like main characters. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, very that's where like Attack on Titan does the flip, where it's just like, oh, by the way, like you're gonna love everyone, and by the way, good luck. You know, like it's just like a Game of Thrones-esque, like, you know,
yeah.
Everyone dies, like kind of just like event, you know. But okay, yeah, so Iron Blooded Orphans, good. I'm glad you're diving into it.
Getting back into My Hero for this season that's been coming out.
So good, dude. Are you caught up?
I think I am. Yes, I think I am.
Okay.
It comes out today, right?
No, Saturday. It's Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Saturday mornings. So
then I might be
you might be an episode behind that. Yeah. Okay.
But I think this season has been great.
I've
good. I've talked to a few people who are like of varying anime watching intensity. Like some who just like sort of into it, but like My Hero because it's a little bit more mainstream, and people who are like hardcore. A lot of people were, I don't want to say like disappointed with the previous season, but they were it was a little bit slower to get through. But I think everyone who's watched this season now have like come to realize, oh crap, they were setting up a lot of stuff. They were like I don't know, paving the way for this season.
Yeah.
Which is like maybe why it felt a little bit slow. And I totally agree.
Well, last season, and I actually had a buddy of mine who was like, hey, I'm going to start My Hero. What do you think? And I was just like, yeah, get into it. Just be aware that season 5, I think it's season 5, right? Is last season? We're in season 6, I think. So season 5, in the manga was way better.
Oh,
It just like I think it was because like it could be kind of slow because of like what you were saying.
yeah.
He ended up liking it, but it might be because he binge watched it. So because he was able to watch it just like in like
Oh, wow,
rapid
yeah.
pace, it was easier for him to like kind of consume it. But like that whole season was literally like the story of the villains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it was like background of them, understanding them a little bit more, and you being able to get that like at least this is to me, this is my pick on it. You can correct me if you think otherwise. But the lens of it was like, oh, they're not fucking bad people. They're just people that society failed, and like the society that they're in right now doesn't provide them any way to kind of make amends and change. So it's a very interesting kind of, you know, political shout in a way that even though I don't like when anime do that, but like it's specific to the story itself. They're not like making any
Yeah.
kind of like absurd, let's look at the US today. And, you know, they're not doing something like that. But I think that's why it was so hard for people was that like it was a lot of character development in a show that has done so much of just like action, 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 action.
Oh, yeah.
Where like Vinland Saga is all about character development. And people are like, I don't want to watch Farming Simulator. And you're like, how are you not like 2 inches from the screen like this, just staring at it the whole time? Like, this is so good, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the previous season it did a lot to, I don't know, I think like make the current season more like satisfying in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like having that extra depth to the villains, it creates this like mental conflict, you know? Like you said, they're not just like purely evil, they're not just like very bad, they're complicated. And then like and that like that tears you up, but like
Yeah.
in a good way,
Yeah.
from a storytelling perspective. Um and then yeah, I think all the previous seasons were like hero, 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 hero. These people are cool. Look at their powers.
Yeah.
They're going
High
through
school
school.
slice of life with
Yeah,
powers. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so then the previous season was like oh, a bit of a total departure from that in like in I think a necessary way. So I think it was just like I don't know a change that people didn't really expect.
Yeah. 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 Big time. Big time.
But been back to the screen gluing experience that I was for previous seasons of My Hero. Really loving it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And like friggin' just All for One is just like, he might be verging on the most evil character of all time.
Oh my God.
Honestly,
Oh
like,
yeah.
and I mean across the board of like not just anime. Like, I have Darth Vader pretty damn high up on my list of like the evilest of evil, right? And like he's encroaching on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even ask, he doesn't even like kind of trick people. He just goes, "Oh, hey, you're gonna do this. Here's an extra power." Like, you know, like he does like fucking little shit that's just like, "Fuck you, man. I hate you." Like
They're just like
you're not
total
even.
disregard and just like I don't know the pawn type viewing of those around him.
Yeah, he's playing
Uh,
chess.
yeah,
It's him. I'll be around until I'm dead against All for One, or I guess One for All. Excuse me. Like it's
yeah.
like, yeah, he's. Oh, it's so good though. What else? Anything else?
On my flight to Ohio, I downloaded a bunch of episodes of Comey Can't Communicate.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that yet.
It's just like such a like a feel good anime.
Mm.
It's like it's so cute. It just I don't know it's just very it's a nice watch. It's especially if you're watching like intense stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a good reframing of your brain.
Okay.
And I think it's really well done. It's so funny
What's it? So
too.
what's it about? Is it like a love story kind of thing? Is it a romance?
It's sort of a romance. It's about a girl with like severe social anxiety to the point where like she can't like speak to anybody.
Okay.
She has to like write out all of what she wants to say, and even then that's like tough for her. But on the flip side, she's also like incredibly beautiful, and for some reason, everyone at school worships her. So then it creates
What
like
a weird dichotomy. Yeah.
it creates like an even worse dynamic for her because not only is she like socially awkward and like unable to approach people, now everyone is unable to approach her because like they view her as like this god, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so, but there's like this one dude who, for some reason, just like totally like sees through it all and like becomes her friend and basically becomes her like translator.
Okay.
Uh, and then yeah, follows the story between the two of them and their sort of budding relationship. And yeah, just super funny, very cute,
Okay.
feel good anime.
Dude, I've been it's funny. So I've been watching, I mean, a lot of the isekais have action and stuff in them, but like that's not the main focus on it. And there's a couple that I've been watching that are just like similar, right? They're the opposite end of like the whole shonen idea that we've all grew up loving, right? And there's like, yeah, it feels so good to watch. Like there's one that I've been watching. It's Dragon Goes house hunting,
Okay.
and it's fucking awesome. It is so good. It's hilarious. It's got comedy. It's like this. It's this dragon that. So it's set in a universe where like there's a lot of magic. There's humans. There's heroes. There's the monster side of things, and you're seeing it from like the monster's lens. So like you see like them being like, we're all nice. Humans hate us. We have to fight them. It's fine. Whatever. Like we'll just kind of live in houses and there'll be dungeons for them and we'll just fight them off, like whatever, right? But it's literally like this dragon gets kicked out of his house by his dad because he's just like this super underpowered whatever. And like he finds this guy who's an elf, who's an architect, who's also like a demon lord, and like he's helping him find a house or help him build houses. And so he's like, it's just like every episode is like he goes to the caves and there's like an issue with that, and then he goes to whatever, and it's just like this stupid feel good, like you said, just like and just for no reason. It's just so good, and I don't know how to explain it yet because it's a new feeling for me. It's a new feeling for me getting into this. Like, oh, I'm jacked. I lift things and I do weight stuff, and then I'm like, oh wait, I kind of really like want to go watch my cosplay darling. What's the name of that? I don't know why the name is slipping my head right now. But yeah, like those, they're so good. They're so good.
And I think there's also something nice about like the relatability of some of them,
Massive, right? Yeah.
Because like I don't know, you're like a big jacked guy. I lift big things above my head, but like we're both also like
Human.
socially awkward, and like
Yeah.
I deal with social anxiety,
Big time,
and so
yeah.
like being able to I don't know see into the lens of Comey in this show was just like, okay, this is like
This is me. Yeah.
this is me. This feels good. And they
So-
present it in a really funny way.
So speaking of that, now that you said vibing, like you vibe with her, right? Have you seen Welcome to Demon School in Rumakun?
I have not.
Dude, okay. You want to talk about a character that I fucking like vibe with?
Yeah.
Him. The whole premise is like he's a human that gets adopted by like the next in line to be Demon King, and like he forces him to go to school at a demon school. Like he gets brought into the demon world, and like he ends up becoming like this person that everyone relies on, but like he can't say no because of the life that he grew up in, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like I'm this is hitting me way too hard. Like I'm not I'm nowhere close to being as prominent as a character IRL as he is, but you should check that one out too if you're looking at it. They're so good. Yeah, man. I mean, like I've been hammering like a lot of the isekai that came out this year.
I also on my way back from Ohio, I downloaded the Cyberpunk anime. Edge
Good
Runners,
shit. Good. You haven't seen that yet?
Which
Fuck yeah.
I know I'm late to the game, and speaking of like the anime awards, I think that won anime of the year, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we can transition right into Anime Awards if you want to, because now you have something that I haven't seen. So, which is the Tomi-chan can't communicate because she's in it. Komi can't communicate. Yeah.
Oh, she is.
So she's that was in the running for something. But let's just start with Anime of the Year, because. All right, so the ones that nominees for Anime of the Year were Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Entertainment District Arc, so the most recent season, Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2, Licorice Recoil, which I did not see, Ranking of Kings, the second, so Core 2 set, and Spy Family. To be fair, I don't think that Spy Family and Ranking of Kings should have been up there, in my personal opinion. I think Crunchy also, because it's the Crunchyroll Awards, it doesn't encompass everything. Yeah, we're also talking about a very specific, like group of slice of anime and viewership, stuff like that. Yeah. I honestly don't think any of the other ones. I haven't seen Licorice Recoil, so I can't comment on that one. But I don't think anything would have beaten Cyberpunk. Like the second I saw the running and I saw Cyberpunk was on there, I didn't even need to look at any of the other ones, and I knew we should have won it. So I'm glad it did. Yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, because I don't think the Entertainment District arc was good enough as a overall anime. Animation was great. The story I love. The characters I love. And the stuff that they did win, spoiler alert, I do think it warranted the wins for sure.
Oh yeah.
Attack on Titan, I don't think it deserved it either. I don't think it deserved it. I don't know if that's up to you on that one too. But
Yeah, so I'm only part of the way through Edge Runners, but even then, so far, really enjoying it. I guess I probably haven't gotten to enough of it to have like as definitive of an opinion as you for like, oh, totally winner. But I do really like it. I guess funny anecdote, I was watching it on the plane back from the Arnold.
yeah.
Um, and there are just like a few times where I'm watching it. Everyone's just like minding their own business, and then all of a sudden I'll just get like some cyborg boobies popping up on my phone. I'm like, oh god,
Who's looking
cover this,
social anxiety?
please. Oh my god, I was sitting next to this. I think she was a professional bodybuilder, like 6.5 feet tall, super jacked, just like Amazonian woman. I'm just like, oh, please don't look at what I'm looking at.
That's when you hit her like, hey, I know you competed at the Arnold, or like you went to the Arnold. You want to watch some Edge Runners?
What's your opinion on cyborg boobies?
Yeah, dude. But that's like, that exact thing that you're saying, not the fan service boobies part, but like how unique Cyberpunk as a story and as a universe is, and the fact that they actually implemented an anime with its own very unique animation style.
Yes.
There's not a lot of things that fit that. Like, I feel like Kill la Kill, Fooly Cooly, like those two are the closest anime style that fit Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And the story was unique. The emotions that were put into it were very unique. The darkness behind it, the light that was found in it, like this whole thing that they did in just one season of a show, which I don't even know if they're continuing it. I think it was a one and done. I don't know though. But it was so good. It was so unique.
What I really liked, I remember my brother was watching it, I think like when it first came out, and I occasionally sat in on some episodes. What was so cool and so like different to me was their like incorporation of like subtitles and captions and all that stuff into like the animation. Like the whole like the cell phone conversations and all that kind of stuff. It was so like flawlessly done and so well integrated and like so still like in the style of like the animation. That was just like it was like a standout thing to me.
Yeah.
Like, sort of minor, but like so cool and so well done.
The cell phone thing is actually funny you say that, because the cell phone thing was the part that when they did that occasionally, because they didn't do it, they didn't overdo it, right?
Yes.
But part of me was wondering, like, should they have done more of that because of the way the game does it? Or was this the perfect amount? And like, it must have been the perfect amount, because there's a reason that it's up where it is, right? There's a lot of issues there's a lot of mixed bag conversations about the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Like a lot of the big anime tubers and stuff like that, like if you look at them and what they talk about shit, they hate this. I don't even think they like Crunchyroll, to be honest. I just think they just which I get, like I get it. But yeah, so Edge Runners, I think we can both agree that we both liked it, and it should be there for what we've seen. Best Original Anime got Licorice Recoil. I didn't watch any of the ones that got nominized, so I'm gonna avoid that.
Looking at the list now, also in that boat.
Oh, I watched Vampire in the Garden, actually. That's a lie. I did watch Vampire in the Garden.
This is making me want to watch Licorice Recoil now that it's been in two of these lists.
Yeah, it's on my list too. Vampire in the Garden was good. That was a like 4-episode series, I think.
Whoa, interesting.
Yeah, and it was really, really good, actually. So the fact that I've only seen one and I can't really comment on anything else, I'm gonna skip over this. I'm assuming you haven't seen any of those either?
I have not. No.
All right, on to the next thing. Best anime character design. Okay. This was very close. No offense to JoJo's, very unique, very okay. Let's go through the nominees before I start complaining. Nominees, okay, was Ranking of Kings Core 2, Spy Family, My Dress Up Darling, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and Demon Slayer, the Entertainment District arc. So the most recent series.
Yeah.
I support this as well, whether I'm fanboying on Demon Slayer or not. Ranking of Kings, have you seen that?
I have not.
Okay, so their character design is very unique, but it's also very
simple.
Yes, very. That's a very good way to say it. It's not plain because they are unique, but it's very simple. It's where like you look at like Demon Slayer, where it's like, okay, Tengen's swords are very specific to his style, and they represent something. His design is very specific. The demons themselves, right? Like from the hair to the tips of their fucking blades and their weapons are very special and unique, and each one had their own specific story behind it. Spy Family, love the show. Absolutely love the show. Everyone should watch it. I don't think it deserves a character design. Even nomination, in my opinion. But I'm not a professional, so I'm not gonna, talk about artist things like I should be. My Dress Up Darling, very clean animation, very good. It draws you in. They do things specifically in specific angles, specific areas that like draw out details in your eyes. The cosplays are very good, and they do a very good job bouncing back and forth between kind of like watercolor splash on anime background stuff to very sharp and clean look. And I think that's very good. Don't think it beat out Demon Slayer. Have you seen Spy Family and or My Dress Up Darling?
I have not.
Okay, both really good. You should watch that. JoJo's. It's JoJo's, man. I mean, it's going to be unique. It's always going to, but no. Cyberpunk, honestly, I think Cyberpunk out of these nominees might have deserved the win. Again, it's the uniqueness of Cyberpunk. Like
the uniqueness is nice. I don't know if like I'm only like a few episodes in, but I don't know if the I guess like supporting characters got as much of like a highlight either like design or story wise as they did in Demon Slayer.
That's fair.
There's just like I don't know, there's like a big uniqueness which I think is also present in Cyberpunk, but there's also like some like a lot of like standalone ability with like the characters in in Demon Slayer that I don't know translates the same way to Cyberpunk, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I do. I get it. Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think I'll be interested to see your opinion when you finish Cyberpunk too, because it might change. This isn't really a spoiler, but like Cyberpunk as a story and how like everything is modifiable. So the character, and maybe that's an argument you can make too, is that there's not a specific character design. Like a lot of these characters can constantly upgrade and change the way they look, so they're never the same. So like you could argue that too, where like it's not a consistent theme of this character is designed X, Then
you can also argue the opposite, where like that sort of like modularity lends itself to some like very interesting character design decisions. And so like the fact that they, did so well with that says a lot.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, Demon Slayer, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe my fanboy talking, but
okay. No, I get you. I'll support that decision. Next one, best animation, and we had Demon Slayer, Entertainment District, Akebi Sailor Uniform, Attack on Titan Season Part 2, Cyberpunk, Ranking of Kings, and Spy Family. Again, Spy Family, Ranking of Kings. Ranking of Kings has great moments, especially during the fight scenes. I don't think it stands up. Cyberpunk obviously is up there. Attack on Titan had its moments, but I think because of the fact that it had to be rushed because of the changing of going to Mappa and going to a different studio, I think that there was too many decisions that had to be made to be able to give what they were happy with that takes away from what it could be. Because I mean, you haven't seen the 1 hour Attack on Titan premiere that dropped for the last half.
Not yet.
Watch that. Like literally just the first 4 minutes of just showing the rumbling happening and like things that are going on in that. The
Yeah.
attention to detail and the things that were done was absolutely insane. I couldn't even tell you if they used a 3D animation in it. Like that's how clean they made this and how much work went into it. So there was like some stuff that was like, okay, but that's not what we're arguing. So
Yeah,
that's
that wasn't last year.
ignorable. I didn't see Akebi's, so I can't speak to that. But I mean, I was floored with Demon Slayer's animation. I'm surprised that Chainsaw Man didn't make it into this list.
Oh wow.
I don't
That's
know if
another thing I haven't seen though.
Oh, okay.
I'm bad.
I don't even know if Chainsaw Man made it into the running for anything, to be honest with you.
Man, that's interesting because it has
Because it came out last year,
I've
right?
seen, it came out last year and it's had such a a big following, I think.
Let's see.
I mean, we saw Chainsaw Man cosplays at Anime NYC.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So maybe it just wasn't out long enough or something. I don't know. Maybe it was still going through the end of the like into 2023, so they didn't take it. I don't know.
Could be.
But well, this is actually technically the 2023 awards, so what do we know? But yeah, I'm happy with that, to be honest.
Oh yeah. I think Cyberpunk as like a close second, just because like I said before, some of their like decisions with some of the animation things were just like super unique and cool. But like Demon Slayer just so visually stunning.
Yeah.
That it's hard to compare.
Yeah, and it seems that they do better effort in their actual series versus the movie. Because I think the movie, like from Mugen Train, wasn't as good as the series part. I think they did a better job with the series. That's my opinion on that. People might get mad at me, but I don't really care. Don't really care about that. So, All right, best new anime series. I honestly am okay with this decision. The winner was Spy Family, but all of them were Spy Family, Call of the Night, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Licorice Recoil, My Dress Up Darling, and your boy Kong Mean. Cyberpunk could have gone up there, but I think that as a like anime itself, I think that Spy Family fits the like all checks the box across the board.
Yeah, and I think calling it best new series is like I don't know. I think kind of where that distinction comes into play because I feel like you could really argue that Spy Family it has like the framework, the potential, like the longevity to be like a really good series. Where like Cyberpunk Edgerunners was like a really good season, and it's for like its own reasons. But yeah, I think like looking at it like holistically, I think Spy Family kind of takes it.
Deal. Quick on that one. Move on to the next one. Best continuing anime series. So all the nominees that were in there were One Piece, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, JoJo's, Kaguya-sama, and Made in Abyss. Haven't seen Made in Abyss, so I'm failing everybody on that one. I don't think I saw Kaguya either. So based off of the other four, the winner was One Piece, and I honestly don't know how you can argue that. That's the hard part. I'm not a massive One Piece fan. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's the best fucking show of all time. Like, yeah, right? Like, I wouldn't even tell new anime watchers to watch One Piece. It's too much to absorb. Over 1,000 episodes is way too daunting. And if you want to get someone addicted to anime, you got to get stuff that's gonna be like taking heroin that grabs you right away, right? But I think it's hard to argue that this has been around. It's got to be 20 years more. You know what I mean? Like,
almost our entire lives.
We're at this year's the 20th anniversary of the Naruto anime, and there's a lot of stuff happening. And I'm pretty sure One Piece did One Piece start before? I don't remember, but it's been around that time. So you can't really argue that if it's still going on, you can't take that away from it. You know what I mean? Unless another series was so much better, but I don't think JoJo's fits that bill at all. Demon Slayer is good, but it's its own style of thing that I can't compare them. I don't think it fits the best continuing for sure, because there's a lot of arguments you can make with Demon Slayer on any facet. Attack on Titan, they milked it too much. I think they ruined it because they're milking the series.
I think they're milking it, and with like all of the like time between seasons and stuff, I think they kind of lost faith for I don't know, for being a continuing series. It's just like eh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can give it to them.
Yeah. I get that. All right, so I think we can agree on One Piece for best continuing.
Yeah, there's just something about One Piece, man.
God, it's just so good. It's
It's
so
just so
good.
like pivotal and always there.
Best anime opening sequence. What one was the rumbling for Attack on Titan. I haven't watched all of these, so I'm not gonna. Actually, I've listened to almost all of them. But I think the hype behind Attack on Titan, like, was just. I mean, the memes that just came out of this was just is what it is. So I'll leave that one. I don't know if you have any input on opening sequence
I mean,
stuff.
I'm a Franz Ferdinand fan, so I liked the Cyberpunk
Okay,
opening.
that's fair.
But I mean, there's something about the Attack on Titan openings that are always just like they really like draw you in.
Yeah.
There's something so like gravitational about them.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave that one where it is. Attack on Titan won that one. Congratulations, Attack on Titan. Best anime ending sequence. That was Spy Family, Attack on Titan, Dress Up Darling, Komi Can't Communicate, Kaguya-sama, and Call of the Night. The winner for best ending sequence was Spy Family. I don't even remember the song. I think it was all jazz kind of themed, is like this whole series. But like the whole animation of it, I remember. Like I remember that whole like the car, the this, the that, like this whole like hecticness, whatever. But it's so fun and playful. It's good. I think that's the ending sequence. I hope so. I can't remember. It's been months since I've watched Spy Family, so hopefully I'm not just speaking out of my butt.
And I haven't watched it.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Like,
So maybe I'll just
guess,
cut this out altogether.
Question. Okay, what do you look for in an ending sequence?
Jesus.
It's a toughie.
I think it depends on the show, because there's what series was it? There's a series that I was watching that was really dark for a while, and then like it would end, it would go dark, there would be nothing said, and then all of a sudden it was just like this fun, playful, like whatever, and I loved that. I loved that they did that, because it's just like, why would you do this to me? Like fucking 45 people just got blown to smithereens, and you're playing this like children's song. Like what happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's hard. I can't answer that off the top of my head. I'd have to sit in that. I don't know what I'm looking for. I think something
Do you
that
remember the first half of the first season for Iron Blooded Orphans?
I'd have to go back and check.
Where they would like incorporate like the ending sequence song into like the show when like something like pivotal happened, and it'd be like the
Yeah.
and like it'd be like the I don't know, Barbatos would come in with like a big swing, and all of a sudden like the ending song would start, and it would like sort of like a very smooth transitions to the like the ending captions and whatnot. I really like the way they did that first half of the first season.
They like utilized it in the actual storytelling. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, so I mean, maybe we'll just stay up in the air and say congratulations to Spy Family on that one, and we'll let them go on. All right, so the best anime score now. Attack on Titan, Spy Family, Cyberpunk, Your Boy Kong Me, Made in Abyss, Demon Slayer. They gave it to Attack on Titan, which, from what I've seen, I can understand that. Like if you've ever watched or created anything and didn't have music behind it, depending on the show, right? Because you look at like Castaway, for example, where like 90% of the movie didn't have any music, but it was very specific to like him being alone on an island, and like the way they did the filmography was very different. But like it changes things and makes things so different. And I think Attack on Titan is one of those shows that does that very, very well.
And I think even like the choice of like when to use and not use music is kind of like a score decision that, like, when done correctly, like creates such a I don't know, like
presence and dynamic.
Moving, dynamic.
I mean, you can tell a story. There's actually an anime. I don't know if it's qualified as an anime. I can't remember what it's called. I have to look it up. But the whole thing is based off of an album, and it literally only goes from song to song to song, and then the animation was made, I believe, based off of the songs.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and I think it's on Netflix, I think. but it was very interesting. Like there wasn't there was no dialogue. It was all the music, and like there was vocals in the music, but it had nothing else to it. And it was very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, best anime score, I can see that going. Cyberpunk was Spy Family was great. They used it well. I don't think that the best anime score. I don't know if it is there. Cyberpunk, they kept to the theme. They did the things that they needed to. I don't think that it fits the best anime score title. Made in Abyss, haven't seen. Demon Slayer, they use it very well. They also use like the same song for a lot of stuff too, though. So
yeah,
you can't really say score overall. So I'll give it to Attack. I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and I feel like in general, I don't know, people really take away a lot from the Attack on Titan score and song choices, you know.
Yeah. Best anime film. I don't know what you've seen for anime movies this year.
I've seen one of these.
Okay, I've seen 3 of them. I really liked Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I thought it was done very well.
Yeah.
And it filled in a lot of gaps for people. Obviously, there's a lot of hype behind JJK right now. So
I'm a big JJK guy.
Yeah,
I guess
me too.
To tell the people, the nominees were Jujutsu Kaisen, Bubble, Dragon Ball Super, Inuo, One Piece Red, and The Deer King, with JJK coming in first.
Coming in the top, yeah. I liked Superhero as well. I'm also a Gohan Piccolo purist because I was that age when they were released. So, yeah. Doesn't deserve best anime film. I don't think it was that good. I left the theater being like, I know why they had to do it. Like it was an important piece of the story. But I don't think that it fits the best anime film for sure. Yeah. One Piece film Red either. I don't think that. I thought it was good. I thought it was a banger. I thought that it was leaning a little close to being a musical more than anything.
Oh, interesting.
But I could see people making an argument because it's One Piece. And the other 3 I have no idea. So I'm just gonna thumbs up Jujutsu Kaisen. All right.
Whenever I can thumbs up Jujutsu Kaisen, I will.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like button. Best anime song. The Rumbling won this one from Attack on Titan. There was also your boy Kong being Spy Family, Kaguya-sama, Shadow's House. It's a new addition, and then One Piece film Red, which is interesting. They put a film in there. I have no comment on any of this. I will let people that are smarter than me in the arts of music make this decision. So all the years of being a musician doesn't help me make this decision at all.
It's very humble of you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to, be a bigger man. Best anime director, Demon Slayer Entertainment District Arc won this one, Haruo Satozaki. There was also Hiroyuki I can't even say that. Hiroyuki Imaishi, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Kazuhiro Furuhashi Spy Family, Shingo Adachi from Licorice Recoil, Yosuke Hata from Ranking of Kings, and Yuichiro Hayashi from Attack on Titan. Is he in there twice? No. I don't know any of this. I create silly videos for the internet because I enjoy doing it. So I
think there's something like really cinematic about Demon Slayer, that I think sort of like highlights director decisions that in my very lowly opinion for me edges out Demon Slayer among this list. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the other ones are pretty cool but also sort of like basic sometimes, but I think like everything is so well like orchestrated with Demon Slayer that I don't know, that's like kind of the job of a director, having that vision and implementing it. That I think they did a really good job.
Okay, yeah, I can support that. I think it's tough, right? Because I think that Attack on Titan, if it wasn't that specific part of the season, if it wasn't that specific like grouping of episodes, might have had a better shot. But obviously, it's doing a very specific grouping of things because Attack on Titan has a lot to say when it comes to cinematic stuff.
And that's a good point because I think with Attack on Titan 2, if I'm remembering this timeline correctly, the previous season was like the whole just like I don't know, kind of like overlapping timeline and the
It was
Eren Yeager
confusing,
stuff.
very
And
confusing.
it was confusing, but it like in the end it made sense. And I think it's because of like good directing, which is like how we eventually got there. And sort of like you like realizing, oh my God, oh that happened. Oh, that's why they did this. Now this other thing makes sense. I think that I think speaks a lot to
Yeah, I just don't know what the judging criteria is realistically. Like, I don't know how they take into account because I do
oh yeah.
wonder if is Attack on Titan this final season part 2, do you have to look at it in a bubble? Because if you look at it in a bubble and you
Mm.
threw somebody into Attack on Titan on that part of the show, would they ever go back to Attack on Titan? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Obviously it's in the nominees for a reason, so there's obviously value there. But yeah, I'm okay with Demon Slayer being up there for sure because I think that every like is a specific district all the time, right? They always have like a specific story arc for
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
season, so I think that because it can open to close, it makes it like one coherent thing. So, but okay, yeah, we'll take it. Best
Boom.
main anime character. We've got
Whoa.
Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. We've got Boji from Ranking of Kings. We've got Chisato Nishigiki from Licorice Recoil. David Martinez from Cyberpunk. Lloyd Forger from Spy Family. And Marin Katagawa from My Dress Up Darling. Didn't watch Licorice Recoil. Can't comment on them.
Yeah.
David Martinez, great character. Not a best main character because I think a lot of the supporting characters had a lot to do with him as it was.
Oh yeah.
Lloyd Forger, great character as well, but there's other characters that other people probably love more than him. Marin, I don't even consider her a main character, but that's from my lens. You know what I mean? Great character, great. It's very important to the story. Obviously, she's like one of two things that you're following the whole time, but no. Bochi with Ranking of the Kings. It's kind of hard not to argue that he's a great main character. There's so many other anime that came out this year that I'm surprised that like this is where like the Crunchyroll gets itself into trouble kind of thing. I wonder if they like do the nominees, even though they say they do them a specific way. I'm wondering if it's off of like view count because this is so easily accessible to people, and like people like you and I will share our accounts with friends that want to get into anime, and they'll watch the stuff that's getting blasted in their face, which is this big stuff, you know?
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to argue Eren. I think there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? He gets a lot of hate recently because people haven't read the manga, so they don't know what's going on with this. So it's hard. It's hard.
And also I think that's like kind of the point of his character. You sort of I don't know, grow to hate him. And I think that like I don't know, this says a lot as to like why he won best main character. Oh, there's like so
Yeah.
much depth, so much like development, and like change,
Yeah.
and for like for good reason. That I don't know, like he annoys me, but like I know why. And so I think I'm not surprised why he's voted at the top.
We'll give it to him. We'll give it to him. All right, let's try to speed through here. We're getting a little long in the recording here, but
I keep scrolling down there, and there are a lot.
yeah, that's a good amount. We're gonna not talk about some of the bottom ones, or we'll go through them real quick. But I don't think you and I have the qualifications to even discuss them.
Are
Best
you sure I
supporting.
can't speak about the best voice actor performance in Italian?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
dare you.
I don't think. I mean, maybe you can. Yeah, you know. Best supporting anime character. The winner was Anya Forger from Spy Family. 100% understand why she won that. And then we had Ai Hayasaka from Kaguya-sama. We had Kage from Ranking of Kings. We had Rebecca from Cyberpunk Edge Runners, everybody's favorite lolly. Tengen Uzui from Demon Slayer, which I love. And your Forger from Spy Family. So there was 2 Spy Family nominees in this. I'm 100% okay with this vote, honestly. Out of the ones that are nominized, I'm 100% okay with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just if you haven't seen Spy Family, you said, right?
Correct.
Okay, go watch it. Like, her character is just so fucking good. It's so funny. She's so adorable, and it's totally okay. I like Tengen as well, but I liked other characters better. I'll just go with that because my brain just shut off. Yeah. So I'm okay with this.
Oh, me too. I understand the popularity of Spy Family, even though I haven't seen it yet. So
Okay.
I'm down.
All right, best must protect at all cost anime, which is a very interesting anime character, which is a very interesting selection. We had Anya Forger, Spy Family. We had Bochi from Ranking of Kings. We had Kage from Ranking of Kings. So that's 2 of those from Ranking of Kings. We had Kotaro Sato from Kotaro Lives Alone, which is a phenomenal show.
My brother watched it, yeah.
And you haven't seen it yet either? You
No.
got it. You have to watch it. Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling and Shoko Komi from Komi Can't Communicate. So this is where you come in here.
Yes.
I think, even though Anya is a great pick, I think Kotaro should have won this, in my opinion.
There's something so I've sat in on a few episodes when my brother was watching it. Something so just like, I don't know, innocent,
Dude.
and just like, I don't know, pure about his character.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just everything about him is awesome. He made that show. Like, yes, did the supporting cast make that show very, very good, because it's a bunch of people basically making sure that this child, this 7-year-old, I forget how old he is literally like living on his own. And like, they're just like, the community in his complex are like kind of checking on him, taking care of him, but he's also changing their lives also in a positive.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, oh man, he's just so adorable. Him and his little fucking samurai sword. Just get him up there. I like Anya, but I think I like Kotaro more. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, next. Best action anime. We got Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Cyberpunk, JoJo's, Stone Ocean Specific, Licorice Recoil, and Spy Family. Spy Family, no, I'm gonna kick that out. I love Spy Family. I love it. It's a great show. I'll watch it until the fucking universe ends. But no, Demon Slayer fits the bill, and I think this season did a very good job with action. Attack on Titan, I don't think had enough action in that part of the season. That was a lot of you were seeing stuff, you were remembering stuff. There was some. It was more towards the end of it. But I think when we're talking about action, it was a little bit more suspense than it was action to me. Cyberpunk, it was nothing but action. But yeah, it didn't stand apart, I guess, is the best way to put that.
Yeah. And I think the Demon Slayer sort of like comes into play with like why they won best animation as well, because like the way that they animate the action,
right,
it's
very
so
specific
unique and so well done that I think they kind of deserve both of them.
Yeah, I think this takes both. They kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. All right, best comedy anime. Let's see here. We got Your Boy Kong Mean, Uncle from Another World, which I've seen a couple of episodes with, and it didn't bite me. My Dress Up Darling, Kotaro Lives Alone, Kaguya-sama, and Spy Family, with the winner being Spy Family. I don't hate this choice out of these. I don't think My Dress Up Darling had its moments for sure, but it was kind of slice of lifey, cutesy, make you feel good versus it being comedy. Spy Family is literally like every scene there's something that'll make you smile. Same thing with Kotaro. I think that fits that bill, but maybe Kotaro's a little bit more feel good too.
Yeah.
Uncle from Another World, I think, was literally made specifically to be comedic.
Yeah.
And the first couple episodes, I just wasn't in it. But maybe I got to give it a better shot. So
I haven't seen it. My brother did. I caught a few scenes. I think there were some LOL moments. I think Kaguya-sama also had some big LOL moments for me.
Okay.
Just knee slapping.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to go back and maybe we'll reevaluate.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Spy Family, but I'm with you.
Okay. Best drama. We've got ourselves Attack on Titan as the king on top of that one. We've got 86 Part 2, Cyberpunk, Dance Dance Dancer, Katara Lives Alone, Made in Abyss. From what I've been told about Made in Abyss, Made in Abyss should have won this. But I also think that this fits Attack on Titan way better than like that whole suspense drama thing that we were talking about just a little minute ago. Like,
Yeah.
I think this fits this a lot better. I think this might have won due to popularity portion too, but
Oh yeah.
for sure, I think that there's value there. Cyberpunk had drama, and it was good drama. I don't know if it was enough.
It was like sort of, at least I mean from what I've seen so far, I don't want to say like predictable drama, but like a normal sort of like a classic story done like a different way.
Yeah.
Whereas like Attack on Titan is just so its own thing that
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to argue with it.
Yeah. All right. Best fantasy. Can we talk about this one? Yes, we can. Demon Slayer, Made in Abyss, Mushoku Tensei, Overlord 4, Ranking of Kings, and the Case Study of Vanitas. Ooh. That's tough, man. Mushoku Tensei is literally on the list as the next anime for me to watch. I have not seen it yet, and I'm getting yelled at on the daily basis by people to watch it. So, but I've heard that this fits this very well. Overlord is always really good. I don't know. Ranking of Kings is also a very good fantasy anime. I just don't know if it fits the. See, this is hard, man. Like, if you try to isolate it into a fantasy itself, it's tough. Case Study of Vanitas is really good.
So I wonder, is this like sort of saying like, who's created like the most interesting world, or
I don't know what the criteria were. I'm just kind of looking at it and being like, okay. I'm okay with that argument though, because I think Demon Slayer fits that for sure. I think all of them do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't pick this one. I don't know. I think Demon Slayer is
on
good.
the Academy.
This is why we haven't been that's why we haven't been invited to make voting decisions. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it because I'm a Demon Slayer fan. I'm a stan of sorts.
Preach.
Case Study of Vanitas was good. I don't think it beats Demon Slayer. Ranking of Kings is good. I don't think it beats Demon Slayer as like a universe and an idea. Yeah. Overlord, maybe. Mushoku Tensei, maybe. And Made in Abyss, maybe. So I think those top four are probably. I don't know if that's in the list of like where they ranked, but I think that's pretty good. Best romance. The winner was Kaguya-sama, and then we got Call of the Night, Komi Can't Communicate, Love After World Domination, My Dress Up Darling, and Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. I haven't seen enough of these to make a decision, or make a opinion, I should say.
Yeah.
So
I've seen Kaguya and Komi, and I like both of them for like sort of the same reasons. So it is kind of hard to choose between the two.
yes.
They both fit like that sort of like romance with like narration over it. They both have like similar I don't know, I guess like anxieties that are addressed, and how these like characters navigate that. So yeah, they're very similar to me, and so those would be my top two in that list, and I would personally waffle back and forth.
Okay. Yeah, like I like My Dress Up Darling, and the romance in it is adorable. Don't get me wrong, because they're like it's like building from like their connection with doing the cosplay stuff. But it's not really. Maybe it is specified as a romance anime. It probably is. But I don't think it's gotten deep enough in for it to be up there yet. Okay, so the next one are basically just like voice acting and some other stuff. So we're just gonna run through them, and I don't think unless you have something to say on them, by all means. But I'm just gonna try to run through these. Best Japanese voice acting performance. The winner was Yuki Kaji, who did Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. The other nominees were Atsumi Tanizaki, who was Anya Forger. You got Chika Anzai, who is Chisato Nishigiki from Licorice Recoil. Fairuz Ai, who's Jolene Kujo from JoJo's. Misaki Kuno, Faputa, and I can't even say that word. Irumyui from Made in Abyss. Sun Natsuki Hanai, who was Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, which
Mm.
I'm assuming that might have been up there. I think the Japanese version of Tanjiro is really good. Best voice acting for English. The winner was Zach Aguilar, who did David and Martinez from Cyberpunk. And the nominees were Amanda Lee, who did Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling. Charami Lei, who did Kotaro Sato in Kotaro Lives Alone. Natalie Van Sistine, who did Your Forger from Spy Family. Sungwon Cho, who did Kage and Ranking of Kings. And Zeno Robinson, who did Gamma 2 in Dragon Ball Super. Wow, good for him. Okay. Yeah, and that's all that is on this list. So we've made it through. We survived. That is a 1 hour and 40-minute recording. Yeah, man. Any last words before we move on? It's been a long time. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's been an absolute pleasure.
as always.
I know. I think this has been a good. I feel like this, and then our visit to Anime NYC really gets me like pumped up. It was like, I don't know. It's funny because according to all my friends, I'm like this big anime guy.
Yeah.
And then when I compare myself to you, I'm just a lowly ant in the anime world. And then we've talked about how like when you compare yourself to like some of these other people, you feel like you don't like do enough or watch enough anime.
Yeah.
So these moments and going through these kinds of things really gets me pumped to dive in head first.
Yeah, man, I'm in the same boat on that for sure. But yeah, man. All right. Well, thank you all for coming back to another episode of the Weebs and Weights podcast. Hopefully this is the like I've said the past like 17 episodes, the restarter into being a little bit more consistent back on episode releases. And yeah, you know the drill. Be healthy, stay healthy, keep uplifting each other, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.